So, watched a debate between Grayson from Based Theory and a guy named TRock. And it was the topic of the debate was, is the Big Bang a reasonable scientific theory? And it seemed like TRock's main argument, he was against it. He said it wasn't a reasonable theory. It seemed like his main argument was there are several, but the one he seemed to spend the most time on, or at least the one that sticks out in my mind the most, is that one of the major pieces of the Big Bang model is the cosmological constant. And his argument is that we got the value for this constant. Well, first of all, that the constant was called a mistake by the guy who first introduced it, Albert Einstein. That he said it was one of the biggest mistakes of his career. And then that the cosmological constant has changed several times, drastically changed. And that its value can be whatever it needs to be, as long as what it ends up doing is matching observations, which is, I don't know, that's a weird take to me, because yes, I agree. The value of any number in an equation that is matching physics can be any number that matches observations. I mean, what else are you doing? Like, you don't just make it up. You say you observe something happening at a specified rate. Say, well, this number explains that rate. So, like, that's just a weird take to me. And that's how, like, all of our science has happened. Like, the gravitational constant. How do we know what that is? We didn't just pull a number out of thin air. We did experiments and said, oh, for these experiments to work this way, the gravitational constant must be this number. So, why it should be different, why that shouldn't work for a cosmological constant is just really odd to me. The other thing that struck me is, so Grayson with Based Theory is graduate level in some science, has taken graduate level classes in a lot of scientific areas. So he's pretty educated. I don't know what TRock's background is, but he seems like he hasn't taken a lot of higher level classes, which is fine. I haven't either. But his response to something that he doesn't understand is very different from mine. See, when someone who has more education than me says something, and I say, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Shouldn't this be what makes sense? And they say, no, that's wrong. Even if they don't explain it, I'm more than likely going to assume that they know something I don't, because they've been educated in things that I have not. And we're talking about things that they have been educated in. So, to think without that education, you know as much as someone who has been educated, is just another weird take to me. So much so that you think not just this educated person, but most educated people are wrong, and you've got it right. Now, that can happen, I suppose. I mean, the first people to discover something were not educated in it. Early scientists weren't educated, but they were also making what we would consider pretty basic discoveries. And our discoveries since then have built on that. So, I don't know, it just seems weird to me to say, nah, all the experts are wrong. Me, an uneducated layman, has the right of it. That's just very, very weird to me.